So is anyone who is not from Refinery familiar with the company called Beta Collective, maybe, or not? Yeah, I spoke to you yesterday, but okay. Yeah, actually, I wasn't when I applied for a job there. And I was actually surprised by the size and the scale of the company. I will get on that soon. But first, just briefly on who I am. I'm more than just my career, but this is my career. I started off at media agency side, Starcom, Mindshare, and Brand Connection. Then I moved into publishing, broadcasting in this case. So I worked for Warner Bros. Discovery as a commercial director for 13 years for the Benelux. In that period, we founded a company together with Disney and Paramount called Brandelli. It's a sales house which later on was sold to RTL Netherlands called Ad Alliance. And I was part of the board of Screenforce, which is the branch committee for broadcasters in the Netherlands. After that, I moved into consultancy. So I founded my own little company called Max, what's in the name, Media Consultancy. And over there, I worked for a company called Pretty Social Media, where we did a lot of work with publishers on social media. It is beneficial for both the brands and the publishers as well. So if anyone has a publishing brand thinks that would be interesting, it can really be beneficial to your brand as well. I was a tutorer in sports marketing on the Cruyff Academy. We all know, I think, even if you're not a big football fan, well over 3 years. And I did some work for BBC, Canal Plus, Paramount, and a Belgian sales house called Ads and Data, which is more or less a competitor of Refinery as well, but they do more than just digital. And then I moved into publishing at Better Collective, and I think this gives it away a bit. I was made redundant a month ago. That's how it can go, unfortunately, with big global companies. Hired to be fired, they say. I learned a lot, was a great experience. Got to work with Refinery again, which I did during my Pretty Social Media days a bit as well. So yeah, I'm open to new opportunities. If anyone thinks, look, this guy really has something good to tell, we have drinks, we have dinner. You never know. So I'm looking for something new, but I'm here to speak about Better Collective and specifically SoccerNews on the stuff we have done there and that's still being executed. So just very briefly, Better Collective is a big global media sports company. But it's not only media, sports, it's also betting. So it's also affiliate-driven business. So here you see all the brands globally. There's many more that we have in all the countries. Specifically, Better Collective is the second largest digital media sports company after ESPN. So it's actually quite big, and within the the European ecosystem, SoccerNews is one of the biggest brands, and I do believe it's also one of the biggest brands that Refinery represents in terms of size, page views. So what then does the situation in the Netherlands look like? We have three brands. So there's SoccerNews, which is a sports news, football news websites. There's Footbin, which is an international site, but has close to 90 million page views a month in the Netherlands, basically catering towards the youth who are all about FIFA. I have never been as popular with my son, who's 15, and his friends when I told them I worked for Footbin, because that brand I didn't know as well, but I was actually surprised by the size of it and how popular it is amongst a teenage boy mainly group. So quite big. And then there's Football Wedden, which is a relatively small site if you look at, but it accounts for Netherlands. Basically, it's a community where people talk. Yeah, there are tipsters. They say, look, if there's Ajax Feyenoord or there's a European League final, this is the good odds. You should go there. So what we do is we send people to Unibet, Bet365, etc. And then basically it's a lifetime revenue stream. So if I sign up at Bet365, and let's be honest, you're losing more money than you're making. All the money you will be losing throughout your lifetime if you come there through a cookie from Better Collective will be roughly 50% flowing back to Better Collective. So that's a very challenging ecosystem, but if you have people lined up, it works very well. Lastly, the Footbin, as I said, it's 90 million page views a month in the Netherlands. It's actually quite huge. And the funny thing is, or well, maybe it's not even funny, but I think that's just how it can go if you don't really know what you have in hand. It's hardly being monetized currently in terms of ad sales, where the potential, of course, is huge. So we're looking into it. At least they are now looking into it. And also in terms of a cross-medium platform, if you have Soccer News with 20 million, you have Footbin with 90 million, there wasn't nothing to use the unsold inventory to cross-promote the two brands. So those are all things that are being worked on. And then that's what I'm going to speak a bit more on today. There's Soccer News. Everyone wants to see everything. And it's mainly SEO driven, but there's a world to be gained for Soccer News in terms of growth and how to do better. And that's actually the assignment I got when I joined the company. So the roadmap for 2025, I'm not going through everything in full detail, but that there's a few challenges. If you look at Soccer News, it's the second football webpage in the Netherlands in terms of unique visitors. However, it's number 4 in terms of page views. So there's something going wrong there. We're not keeping people on the site. So that's one of the focus points that there is. And in the betting space, there's a lot of political things happening to, basically move people away from betting. So those are all the things, all the ambitions I basically plotted for the year to see what we should do. And then from that came a strategy for Soccer News. So as mentioned, 20 million page views a month. The numbers I said, this is where the traffic comes from. And the demo is relatively old. So that's also something to, for instance, use Footbin for. There's a big young audience there. Why not cross-promote Soccer News there and make them aware to also drive the younger demos? Social is big and booming as well. And the thing is, this is the Soccer News identity when I joined. So it's, to be very honest, often sensational. When I went into brands, Mindshare or Nike or whoever, they looked at the site, it's very clickbaity. I don't want to be around that with my brand. So move on to the next door, please. So that's some perception, which is basically often true as well. That we needed to change. So there's a big sensational element into what Soccer News is. It's SEO driven. So if you look at the headlines, it's all this trainer is getting sacked. It's a drama here. All the big words that are often a bit too much exaggerating. So what we did is try to build a better team. For instance, I recruited a guy who was later awarded as the Dutch sports journalism talent in the Netherlands. So that helps to build the brand, to have someone with a good profile, who makes good stories, who's a trustworthy person, who has a real talent, both on video and in written articles, to boost the brand. That's one of the first key elements we did to change the brand around. And then there's 3 pillars. There's an editorial pillar, a commercial pillar, and a product pillar. All the things we are working on, at least they are now working on, but I'm repeating myself, to change the brand around. And we already did a lot of work there. We have a brand strategy book. So we basically, I just mentioned, where are we? Well, Soccer News is now here. We wanted to move a bit more up here. This is Football International, which is the big number 1 in the Netherlands. We're never going to touch that. So we need to find our own little space and not compete with other ones. So we wanted a new brand strategy and a brand book. Who are we? Identify what the brand is and basically get all the content underneath that. Make it a better website, as Refinery can probably confirm. The website can do a lot better than it currently is. And onboard better writers, which we started already with the guy winning the award. So in terms of editorial, this is basically the key characteristic. We were much more focusing on football culture, because everyone is writing about Tottenham winning the Europa League. Everyone is writing about Ajax buying a new left winger, etc. And you should do that as well. But there's a whole element that's hardly being touched by the bigger websites, which is more about football culture. So why are people making those big banners in the stadium? How are they doing that? Having discussions with fans, what's living with them. And the video you see here, I think that's a very good element where we already started it. We took 4 guys, we put them in a camper van, we sent them to the Euro 2024 in Germany, and they just made videos all day, and it worked like crazy. The best thing was that our cameraman, who is a bit of a crazy guy, he decided to fly a drone over the stadium in Frankfurt, which is not liked by the German authorities and the FIFA and the UEFA as well. So he got put into jail. We made a vlog of it, and it went through the roof. So Not something we planned, but those things really see, and that's what fans like, and it got shared, etc. So this is basically the Soccer News 2.0, as we call it, and make it a bit more fun and a bit more edgy. In terms of data, this is the key characteristic. I shared in the beginning that we are number 2 in terms of unique visitors, so we do very well in SEO. We get a lot of people in, but once we have them in, everyone is basically leaving because our pages per visit is 1.5. If you look at the number 5 on the list, it's 2.0. So even a jump from here to there would mean a 33% growth in terms of page views as well. Quick wins, which has really nothing to do with what you're saying. It's just how you present the website. It needs to improve a lot. Also, together with Refinery here in Red, we created and more on that later, so-called less is more approach. The website basically felt like a Christmas tree to me. The idea was the more impressions you have on the site, the more ad placements, the more outbrands, the more stuff we do ourselves, the bigger the revenue we'll get. That, of course, is not always the case. And we introduced new layers of affiliation. Of course, we have the betting, but we also introduced football jerseys, football travel, everything related to the big group of football enthusiasts we already have on the site. So why not monetize them? So here you see the numbers between the competition. So this is the Soccer News unique visits. That's the number 2. But then if you look at page views over here, we are all of a sudden number 4. So in terms of data, that's where the big jump can be made. Then in product, to be very honest, we have an app, but it basically is a rubbish app. So there's lots of work to be done there as well. There, for instance, is no comment section, and everyone who knows football knows there's a lot of people who like to say stuff on the comment section. Well, looking at you, Julien, you are nodding your head. That's what's going on, and people say, "Well, he's a rubbish player." No, I don't think. And then they refresh. Has there been a comment already? That's an easy trick to get people come to your website much more. We wanted the people to have, if you're an Ajax fan, have an Ajax profile to get more Ajax news so that you will be drawn into the site much more. Simple things like that. And we even didn't have cross-linking. So if you write an article on FC Barcelona and you mention Lamine Yamal, you should link into Lamine Yamal. It's those simple things are all being done now and already have an effect. Then the recent changes we applied for Soccer News. This is the affiliation I already spoke about. So we have, I think, 3 or 4 broadcasters showing football. No one knows where. So telling the people this game can be watched there, click here, and some money flows back to us if they decide to get a subscription, book a game, etc. And then the same with jerseys. There's a lot of websites selling football jerseys. There's a new jersey coming out, especially this time for all teams. You make an article about it. You say, look, you can buy it here with a discount, and some money flies back to us as well. And the same, and I have a short user case on that as well, with football travel. So we called SN op reis, means SN traveling. We went to Dortmund, Milan, Liverpool, and Madrid. We partnered up with a company called footballtravel.com. Because we have the audience, they have the product, and together we basically enhance their product on our website with an affiliate model behind it. We had the website lined up with a specific football travel destination program on it. And here you see just the pilot period, what we did there and how we went about it, especially on social. It went through the roof. There was one video of a guy tapping beer from a rucksack, which is not known in the Netherlands anymore, but in Germany it is. So we filmed that in Dortmund, and I think it got close to 8 million or 7 million impressions, this one here. So those are things that not only good for revenue, but also good for the brand. And there's a bald guy there. That's me. I was part of the first vlog because everyone went on holiday, so decided to bring in the old guy. So those are things that are good for the brand. It really establishes yourself as, we know football, we love football, we know what you fans like. And it also is good for an additional piece of revenue, of course. I hired or at least molded, I should say, a transfer journalist. They're already known. I think everyone who likes football knows Fabrizio Romano. He knows everything about the football transfers. If there's something coming up, he's the go-to guy. I basically had Munir. He worked for another football website. I said, all you need to do, go to Ajax, go to Feyenoord, go to PSV first, the big 3 games. tell him who you are, make connections. So he didn't do anything really in the first 3 months, but all of a sudden it worked. He got scoops, he got buzzes, he got new things coming up. So we had, instead of copy paste sensational news, all of a sudden we created news. So we established a brand on that. We created a buzz by, hey, what's going on the soccer news? There's something going on there. We should go. A lot of free publicity came from it. Here you see some examples that Munir posted in. We even got in the Sun, and all the big websites picked up the scoops that Munir had. It increases the credibility of the brand, and which is also a key one, is Munir got asked by podcasts from all platforms. So whether it's a Telegraaf, Football International, all the big ones, they say, hey, we need to have Munir in a podcast and talk about how he does his work, what's the latest scoop, and also then referring to soccer news again. So it's very simple. It's just one FTE, but the amount of publicity he gets from just doing his work is insane. And lastly, together with Refinery, we created a less is more approach. I spoke about that earlier. The website felt like a Christmas tree, which is devastating for your UX. And we decided to have a limited number of ad positions with all maximum ad sizes as well. And yes, short term, that does have an effect on your RPM, but longer term, people should get back. Page views should grow. CPMs could go up. So then your RPM will go up again. At least that's the idea. And at least the last time I sat behind my laptop having access to all the BC dashboards, that's really the case. Short term low in revenue, but longer term RPM effect. Yeah, and there's a big focus on the balancing act. I think it was already shown in the video we started off with before Hugo came to the stage. It's a balancing act. It's about CPMs. It's about content. It's about ads. It's a bit of that. And partnering up with Refinery on that has been really key to make it happen. So here you see, last slide I have everything that's been happening. Here's where we kicked in the SN less is more approach. This is data running into December 2024, yes. And you already see it going up. And I can tell you that in Q1, we already saw the RPM going up again. And it took some convincing internally as well to the internal stakeholders that we were diminishing some ad positions, because it feels a bit crazy. You're decreasing your ad positions, but why then is that good for revenue? Yeah, it is good for revenue, and that's what we see. So I think that's my story. Yeah. Thank you for listening.
Agency, broadcaster, consultancy. What is your view on how the industry has evolved like the very last 25 years? And what does the future hold?
Well, if I knew what the future would hold, I would be buying a lot of stock in some companies. So I don't know if I know exactly that, but I do see what's been happening, especially in my consultancy days, being in the big media companies. I mean, I've been in Discovery for 13 years, and every 4 years you saw kind of a wave of things changing. And now when I was at either Paramount or BBC or wherever, it's basically getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, because things are changing so rapidly. It's either we go left, we go right, AI is coming in. There's a lot of in-housing of media by brands. So instead of going to the bigger companies, they do it in-house. They hire hyper-focused specialists instead of doing it somewhere else. And of course, which we saw at SoccerNews as well, AI is booming. I mean, we had a tool where we basically said, look, AI, there's a transfer period coming up. We want to know all the big stories, and please follow that and that journalist and authority. Whenever there's articles on these topics, make articles in our tone of voice, get it into the inbox of the editors. They only need to check it, whether it was happy with it, and plus release. And normally that would take, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes for one piece of article. So it's those kind of things that is massively changing quickly. Yeah.
Okay, well, nice. Actually, in your opinion, what are like moving more into the monetization part? As I really like your approach on less is more. Of course, it was something that we built up together. But what are the key aspects for you to consider when choosing a monetization partner?
Well, first of all, it's about understanding who you are, and I mean, we're here in a Refinery days. So and Refinery works with multiple publishers. I mean, look inside the room. There's no one really doing the same work. So it's about trying to understand who you are and what's your business about. I think that's the most key thing. And of course, there's CPMs, there's RPMs, there's fill rates. That's all those, and that needs to be done. But it's about understanding who you are and where you want to go to. I think that's the critical thing.
Actually, did we live up to your expectations?
In the 11 months I've been there, yes.
Well, that's great to hear, at least. Great. You were also speaking about balance, right? Like, not always you need to see like the immediate result in numbers. Sometimes it just takes longer. You might start working on your content, working also on your strategy, understanding also your numbers, right? What do you think? If you could mention like top three, let's say, advices you will give to the publishers that we have in front right now, what will be those three things that you might say? Okay, first of all, do this, and then you kind of start thinking on, okay, how is it going to grow my RPM? Or what?
Yeah, I don't think there's a golden rule. I think it depends a lot on the website you have, the audience you have, etc. The only thing I would say is be patient and trust the process. I think it's called. I've been watching the European League final yesterday, and Mikel Arteta, who didn't want anything in 7 years, he always says trust the process. So sometimes it should happen. But that's really, I think, the key. I mean, don't be looking at it on a day-to-day basis, looking at it longer term, see the impacts happening. That would be my sole point of advice.